Hi folks, this is all the fruit. Today I was at the market of Serian in Malaysian Borneo. Actually, I'm still very close to the market, close to a busy street, sorry for the noise. And I bought some strange rambutan. You cannot call it hairless rambutan, it has hair. Well, rambut means hair, rambutan means hairy. So this rambutan definitely is hairy, but it looks like somebody shaved it and the hairs have regrown for a couple days, like it has some hair stubbles instead of normal long hair. Well, here then I got for comparison some more normal rambutan here, yellow rambutan and red rambutan, and both of this variety where the hairs are green, creating a very beautiful contrast with the red skin. Actually, even the tips of the hairs are red, but the hairs themselves are green. A very nice neon yellowish greenish. It even creates a nice contrast to the yellow skin. Well, this is for sure Nephelium lapaceum, the normal rambutan, the yellow and the red version, and both with green hairs. This here is one of the dozens of wild species which are from time to time cultivated, also from time to time collected from the wild. Serian is surrounded with hills. Most people would collect fruit mainly from their gardens and farms in the flat areas around here, but some will also forage in the hills, and some will also take plants from the hills and grow them in their gardens. So here we have some other rambutan variety. It's not a pulazan, it's not a hairless rambutan, it's not a korlan in my opinion, it's something else. And instead of identifying it, I decided I'll make the video first and add the name later. So let's try this rambutan. Yeah, of decent size. A lot of those wild rambutans are quite small, but those you cannot say anything. They are basically bigger than an average cultivated rambutan. Aha! Look at that. The skin is quite thick. I almost expected that, but didn't dare to mention that it could be some hybrid with a pulazan. Do you see those pieces, those thick orange pieces of rind here? Basically, they are more typical of the pulazan. I think I didn't see any pulazan on this market now. Interesting. I saw it very rarely in the nearby city of Kuching. But this looks like something. Either it could be a hybrid with the pulazan or a hybrid species with the pulazan, or a species closely related to the pulazan. There is some yellow sheen to the flesh and some of the juice has already run out, but it smells good. The flavor is also closer to the pulazan. Pulazan has a much more rich flavor than the rambutan. This thing tastes like honey with lemon juice. Honey with lemon juice, quite similar to pulazan. If you know what pulazan is and if you've ever drunk honey with lemon juice, maybe this will get you an idea. The skin sticks to the seed, but not too much. Fibers on the seed. Now let's try a rambutan. Let's try the red rambutan first. As you can see, the skin is much thinner than in the pulazan, and much thinner than in this enigmatic Nephelium species. So that the flesh, despite the fact that this fruit, when you look at it from the outside, is much smaller than this fruit, the flesh inside is actually bigger because the skin is much thinner. The flesh is crunchier and with a typical rambutan flavor, which in my opinion is inferior to the pulazan or to this honey lemon juice thing. The flesh, well, pretty much the same, maybe a little bit easier to remove. And the fibers covering the seed are a little bit more coarse. Now let's try the biggest fruit of this mysterious rambutan. Really big fruit inside. The skin is not much thicker than in the smaller ones, so there is more inside. And even more rich flavor. How to describe this? There is some additional flavor in the mix. Some floral flavor. Or a flavor of plums, yes. A plum. A really nice and sweet plum, but which has still retained a lot of sourness, which is not a problem because it's very sweet at the same time. It also has plum flavor. Here the seed. Now let's try the yellow rambutan. This, just like this one, should be Nephelium lapaceum. See again, a pretty thin rind, really big fruit inside. Yeah, both those rambutans are also much drier than this. This is, being more juicy is also typical for the pulazan. Look, dry. You can eat this without getting too messy. By the way, the orange juice on my skin is not from those fruit, it's from the bambagan I filmed earlier because I'm too stupid to buy water. Well, so yeah, another difference between this thing and another feature which makes it more similar to the pulazan is that it's more juicy than an average rambutan. Look, not very juicy. Juicy, but not as juicy and not as messy as this one. Again, more or less the same flavor as the red one. After you've tasted pulazan, rambutan flavor is still nice, but you consider the fruit quite dry and simple in its flavor. Yeah, I removed almost all the skin from the seed. Now let's try again one of those. Yeah. See, there is already juice dripping out of this. I couldn't have done this with any of those rambutan fruit without squeezing with a lot of force. But the pulazan is much softer, and this stuff seems to be... Well, what does it seem to be? The flavor. This one is again something plum-like. This one is more like plum wine. Plum wine or plum liquor. Really tasty fruit. Maybe closer related to the pulazan than to the rambutan. Yeah, I'll try to ID it. If I don't manage, I'll still upload it because it's definitely interesting enough. Don't know what it is. Is it a hybrid between rambutan and pulazan? Is it a species more closely related to pulazan than rambutan? It's definitely nothing what I would call a pulazan. In a pulazan, the skin would usually be even thicker, meaning you get less value for money. and those short spines would be much thicker and stockier. I mean, it's possible that they dried up a little bit here, but they were never as stocky as typical pulazam. Okay, folks, this was some enigmatic Nephelium species, and here's some red and yellow rambutan for comparison. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful island of Borneo, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.